So, friends, my husband gets mistaken for famous people all the time throughout our 27 years together. This has happened like several times. Uh, it is not consistently the same person, but like recently, we were at one of the final Jazz on the Greens, and earlier in the season, Josh Hoyer had played, and someone came up to him at the Jazz on the Green was like, "Oh, I watched you play the other week, and you were amazing." And then we had to deduce and figure out that they meant Josh Hoyer, and they thought that's who he was. Another time, we were like in a checkout line at a store, and somebody thought he was someone from the band Pamplemousse, which I'm not familiar with them, but he must just have a look about him. Anyway, I'm Devin. We're gonna have a little story time because I'm gonna tell you my favorite instance of him being mistaken for someone famous, and it's pretty funny. So if you like funny stories and you like fashion and styling and want to know stuff to do around Omaha, Nebraska and stuff, you should follow me and definitely like this video. So my favorite story is back in 1999. We're taking you way back in the Wayback Machine today. In 1999, he and I were on a family vacation with my family, including great grandma, and we had gone all the way to Adventureland. And you remember what Y2K fashion was. He was wearing a tank top, a black tank top that had barbed wire screen printed across the front of it, and he had on like some Jinko jeans, and it's Willie. And he was wearing like a little bucket hat, a black bucket hat, and very Y2K. And we were on a Ferris wheel. We had gotten on the Ferris wheel at the Adventureland, and we're going up and around. And as we're going around, we've noticed, like, we're looking down over the side, and there's like a group of girls, like teenage girls, like congregating down at the bottom. And they're like kind of squealing and making noise and then like waving up at the Ferris wheel. And we're like wondering, oh, who are they waving at? They must know somebody in the Ferris wheel or something. We're like looking around at the other cars, wondering who they must be waving at. And finally, we get down to the bottom and notice that as we're going by, they're clearly waving at our car. And, we're still confused about what's going on. It goes around one more time. This Ferris wheel goes pretty slow. It goes around one more time. We get to the bottom again, and it's time for them to let us off. And now the girls are squealing and they're yelling, AJ, AJ. They thought he was AJ from the Backstreet Boys. Which to my husband Joshua at the time, he did not consider that a compliment. That was like the antithesis of the vibes that he was trying to project in his fashion. But that's pretty funny. They were very disappointed when they realized that it was not AJ from the Backstreet Boys, that it was just someone else. But it's a good story. I tease him about it often, about how he looks like AJ from the Backstreet Boys. And a few years ago, we did a show at the Rose Theater when I was working there called Howie D back in the day. And Howie D is also a Backstreet Boy. So, of course, when I met him, I had to tell him that story about how my husband was mistaken for AJ on a Ferris wheel at Adventureland. So if you were one of the girls at Adventureland that year in 1999, that summer, I'm sorry. I'm sure that was very disappointing for you. But what a funny story. All right. Thanks, friends. Thanks for listening. Mwah.